Well, the expert panel that looked into the July unrest did make one thing clear. The executive must carry some of the blame for security failings in responding to the unprecedented violence and looting. And last night, President Cyril Ramaphosa said he and his cabinet accept that. He added that they will start filling filling critical vacancies in some security and crime intelligence structures, along with making leadership changes. Well, Professor Anthoni Van Nieuwkerk is based at the Wits School of Governance, and he joins us again to talk about peace and security studies. Prof, thanks so much for joining us. The speech was so economics heavy and infrastructure heavy, and we were waiting for those hard-hitting announcements to be made on the security and justice cluster, and they did come at the very end.
Yeah, I hope most people didn't switch off by then, because he did give very important pointers to what his plan will be to recover what I call the security sector. And so, first of all, I mean, it's very important for him to say to us that he accepts the recommendations of the expert panel, but there was a high-level panel before that as well with similar findings. So he accepts cabinet responsibility for those failures in July. It doesn't mean now that the cabinet is going to resign or he's going to fall on his sword, as the opposition parties are asking. Rather, he is now instructing the security sector at the strategic level, under the leadership of the National Security Council, to make haste with an implementation plan that will look at all the recommendations of these various panels. And let me quickly add, I think what is needed here, I see playing in the background are pictures of, chaos, violence, unrest, destruction of property, a failure of law and order. And that's precisely the point I want to make. It doesn't help for our government to reform the intelligence service, but leave the policing sector alone, or reform those two and then leave the justice sector alone, or leave home affairs behind. So what is needed is quite an ambitious plan. And I think when I listen, put my ear on the ground, the work is already starting to design a plan that will also critically bring the voices of civil society and others to the table to speak about the necessity to undergo a very deep and stringent security sector reform process. Because I want to say, Annika, that I think the time is past for these instruments of the state to be used for regime or personal security or the protection of politicians. It is to protect the nation, the people, what I call freedom from fear and freedom from want, and also to protect the critical infrastructure, the assets of the nation. And to do that, we have to really think very deeply and fresh about our security approach to the safety of the country.
Prof, in terms of leadership changes, there's obvious tension between the police minister and the National Police Commissioner. Are you wondering whether there's going to be an announcement on changes on those particular two positions?
Look, we can only speculate, because it's intriguing that the president said that there will be leadership changes very soon. And I'm trying to probe whether at the executive level, the political level, or the level of senior officials. It seems to me that what is needed under the leadership of the president, the minister in the presidency, Gungubele, and the National Security Advisor, that team will have to look at the appropriate composition of strategic leadership for the security sector. If it means that police commissioners, crime intelligence, DGs of intelligence services, etc., if there's going to be an overhaul at that level, I think then it's appropriate, and it needs to happen. We need fresh thinking, and we need inspired leadership to take the security sector forward. That is what we don't have at the moment. That's what we're really struggling with. And I think the president last night opened the door for this sector, working together with civil society and experts and academics and so on, to put a real plan together in the next couple of months. And let me hasten to say, if we don't do that, then this specter of 8 days in July will revisit us. So the pressure is on.
12,000 new police, the boots on the ground, reintroduction of the community policing forums. That's a lot of positive news for many communities. But the real problem here, Prof, is that the divisions and fractures and faction fighting within the ANC is dripping down into security and intelligence structures, particularly in crime intelligence. So how do you fix that?
With difficulty, and it's been the problem for many years now, and that's exactly the findings of several of these panels. And so I'm very supportive of the president when he says he will tackle corruption in a structured manner, following the Zondo report, that SAPS will be strengthened with a large number, and so on and so forth. But if he doesn't refresh the leadership and depoliticize the security sector, to work in favor of one or the other faction of the ruling party, then it's a non-starter, which is why I am inspired that he says, let's work on a consultative plan. Let's bring, in fact, he said, you might recall, I know it was late in the night, let's bring the role of Parliament closer to the reform of the security sector. So Parliament is, it's the body of our elected representatives. They can hold these decision makers in the security sector to account. And they must call the minister in the presidency to ask him 2 months from now, where is the promised plan? And to ask SAPS, why is it that you are not working together as a top team on the strategic level? So I'm fairly optimistic.